Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday, everyone. Good morning. How is everyone doing today? Good morning, Sterling. Thank you for putting in all the data. I was just scrolling through a second ago. What's this one? Lagarde says best defense against Trump's second term is attack. What does that mean? Do you have any more info on that? I mean, oh boy, this is this next year is going to be super interesting. Just going to be super interesting. I don't know what to say. Good morning. Hey, goo morning from George. It's a goo morning. Hope it's has it warmed up for you, George? Good morning, Tony. It's still cold here. It snowed again last night. I still have to clear the driveway at some point. Remind me, Royal Palms, please, after I get through some other stuff. Good morning, Anissa. Hello, Sashi. Thank you for tuning in. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Heinrich. All right, we'll wait for some more people to come in, and while we're doing that, nothing coming out so far this morning. Good morning, Eric. Thank you for tuning in. We have consumer sentiment, the preliminary numbers for January. Remember, we'll have the final numbers coming out. Are they next week or the week after? I forget because of the holiday. They're going to be the week after. So that actually go into that'll be interesting. But these are the preliminary numbers. Keep an eye on current inflation expectations. You got Barr speaking. I don't know if it's going to be related to the market center after the cash close. You got Daly speaking. So that's about it. The big thing today, we got the consumer expectations, but the big thing today is going to be the option expiration. Option expiration today is the biggie. I don't need to talk about that. Just don't do anything silly with options expiration. If you already got long, maybe on the percent B with the close above the high, instead to watch yesterday's high, it broke above there, and then it pulled back a bit during lunch, given some nice potential entries, and then a continued rally after that into the close. So it's just, from my perspective, just from doing this kind of stuff, started at 92. This is where I'd be a little more aggressive with stops in case it turns into a choppy or interesting day with options expiration. Can't tell you exactly what to do. That's not the point here. It's for you to learn how to trade and invest, not for me to call out signals, although I've tried to help people the best I can. So far, chips still on a march up. Mega caps, besides Tesla, still doing well. Tesla closing below that 75. Next target's 87.5. We're gonna keep an eye on that. Groups, comm services, technology, real estate, everything except consumer defensive is up. Let's just refresh it real quick. Hey, everything, healthcare is neutral and everything's up. Everything's up on OPEX Friday. This is interesting. It's nearly 50-50. I don't know who's expecting a double cut in March. It's nearly 50-50 that we might just continue the pause now in March. The pause and then cut in May. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, still 6 cuts. Oh boy. We're still in greed mode. Okay. Who else is here? Good. Let's see. Good morning, Jacob. Didn't I hit I hit the monthly SPY yesterday? Did you not? Did you not watch the very end, George? Did you not watch the very end? Uh oh. Uh oh. Best plan to prepare for a possible return of Donald Trump to the White House in 2025 is to bolster Europe's single market. The best defense, if that's the way we want to look at it, is attack. What? Oh, I have nothing to say. All right. Earnings. Small regional banks and some insurance. Nothing big today. The earnings really start getting going. Earnings really start getting going next week. Is this next week's? Yeah, that's going to be next week's. So let's just do a quick preview. Next week's, just so you're prepared. I mean, oh, good. We get Drag Queen United on Monday. it's Netflix, it's Tesla, it's Intel, Visa. So you got some good stuff coming on next week. All right. But let's get to our current market. So, from my perspective, you don't want to lose yesterday's high now. Got the follow through, went up to retest the most recent highs, and so far paused into there. So that's what I'm going to be watching. Key support, I'm watching about 48.21 to about 48.23 on any pullback going into the open. That's what I'm keeping an eye on if it does pull back a little farther. But it's trading against some minor support right now. And then yesterday's high is very key. And if it does dip below that, you still got major at 4,800 to 4,806. The only way anything concerning, with this rotation up gets really iffy is if we start getting back below 48.6, 4,800 with the OPEX. 4,800 is a pretty solid wall. So we also have daily cycles turning up a bit early. Now remember, weekly cycles are still headed down. But so far, there's two kinds of corrections. Longer term viewers know this. Pullback and sideways. Clearly a sideways correction. So that still favors now. I mean, it can still drop down. But this, by the way, the double is now a triple. And if you go back, see 1, 2, this pulled back far enough to turn this into a triple. And if you want to look at the weekly, do you see any rotation in here for a double top on the weekly? No, so it can't even be kept on there for a weekly. All right. So now, if it does break above 48.41, 48.59, I'd be watching 48.50 though, due to expiration today. Then 48.59, then 48.75, 48.76. See, you did leave early. Well, you know what? I'm going to make you watch. Go to the very end of yesterday. I know where I sit in this. Traffic is more important than the YouTube videos. I see how this is sitting, George. Hey, Christoph. Hello, Charles. We now know where George's priorities are. Oh, demerit. Okay, NASDAQ still has the double potentially in place. Probably not going to trigger. We'd have to have some serious market wipeout for that, but probably not going to trigger. Almost up to the next minor target, the 17,270 area. Above that, 17,373 based off the harmonics. I'd be looking at 17,300 on OPEX today. The key support. Let's take a look at this at the shorter term time frame. The support area I'll be watching is about 7170. It's right now set trading about 17,200, but 7170 to about 7150 is a key support. I'll be watching into the open. If it can even pull back that far. But I'll keep an eye minorly on this right here with the 17,200 area. You can see this is the 15-minute. The support base from just after European Open got higher than that, 6:30 reversal time frame, and then retesting that area. So that's the minor area. Below that, the major support coming in at 17,000 to 17,025 is major. And again, sorry for flipping too early. Because of where this sits, wouldn't let this drop back too much, especially below the close. Now, this was a break. It's pretty far away from Wednesday's highs, which was a % B trigger with the follow through to the close. But I would keep a stop tighter than that because you don't want it retracing all the way from my perspective. The Dow, remember the first one I said yesterday was to watch for was the NASDAQ, which is the most powerful, then the S&P. The Dow technically triggered a % B buy, but this is still caught in consolidation. Very key resistance is 38. 38 is now very key resistance on any continued rally today. The key support is coming in for me about 37,550. So this would be out of the three that did trigger, this would be one of the weakest. This is the weakest because the Russell did not trigger a percent B buy. Which, remember, so far the Russell is weak, weak, weak. That's the first one I'll look to for shorts. It's the last one I'll look to for longs right now. Doesn't mean it can't still bounce or go up, but, you know, that's been the lagging one. And so that's the way. I don't want to trade the weakest thing to try. Even if it bounces more, I'd rather miss part of a move than go try to guess going in. Is the weaker thing going to bounce more? That's not a good solid way to trade. On a rally, 1960 is key resistance. 1915 is key support. VIXY dropping again, dropping like a rock. Still slightly elevated, but keep an eye just today with option expiration. Watch around 1350. DAX, again, technically barely eked out a percent B, but this is another very weak one. This would not be something I was looking to go long. This is something I'm watching for rollover plays. Rollover plays in the DAX. There's just not a lot of great trading in that today, so it's something not on my radar screen. The potential double, which never triggered yesterday, is off the table. And we're finally reconnecting with the 50. Going to be watching now for a bottoming pattern setting up for a minor potential pop next week, which then could turn into another shorting opportunity. But is there anything fantastic today? Not really. See, not really. This is just a mess. You know, if it does break above 111.10, you're still running into some key breakdown areas at 111.11, 111.12. So there's not proper risk reward. Going to be watching for a better potential bottoming signal in there yet, but nothing yet. If it does drop below the 50, I'm not expecting major movement below that today, but the next key target isn't back to about 110.12. The yield, yesterday reconnecting with the 50, trying to poke up today, just shy of the 4.17 harmonic. Going to be watching, we're getting to topping areas and overbought. Going to be watching for a pullback in this going into next week. But there's lots of support. That would not be something I'd be looking for shorting opportunities. I'd be looking for pullbacks and then long opportunities after that. There's just not a great topping pattern just yet. So those are the things that are off my radar screen today. 10-2 still trying to, let's see if it forms a higher base, a higher short-term base, and then we start getting the move back up next week, but we shall see. Dollar index still stalled out at the 200. If we do break higher, this is still technically a double top pattern. Now, if we now rotate back up today, you know, this 103.25, it will be off the table. It'll turn into a triple. If that just breaks down still, 102.79 on a 4-hour closing basis. But that is on a stronger rally if the double does not trigger and we do break out again to the upside, which would be interesting with daily cycles and overbought at the top. But the next key target would be 103.60. Dollar index, unless it does trigger this pullback pattern, not really interesting either today. Crude, weekly, looks like, unless we get some massive collapse, still tested the weekly 200 and closing above it. Now, it's getting interesting because we're getting the weekly cycle tops, but so far we might be building a bigger base and daily cycle tops. So next week's going to get interesting if we get a rollover move. But so far, you see we've been stair-stepping higher with the key closes and key lows. Stair stepping higher. So it's going to get interesting, and it's chipping away at this 50. So is there a great setup now yet in crude? No. So that's, again, some days are just best not to force anything. Now, if it gets momentum above the 50, the target would be about 75.50. Key pullback is 73. Natty gas, which has been interesting because that has had a pattern. Close, triggering the double. Yesterday, first the stop reduction target hit, and some people like to take some profits off of that. First target, which is officially a profit-taking target, or at least a stop reduction target. So that's hit both. So now it's reducing the stop twice and possibly taking stuff off. Final target is 251. Coming into some key support here, though. So I'd be watching on the shorter term for a bottoming pattern to possibly unwind a little more, from my perspective, because you're getting to possible daily cycle bottoms and getting closer to oversold. So this is getting to a key support area for me. Gold, nothing. Gold's really nothing. I don't know. Somebody could tell me. I don't feel like looking at it, because if this is a % B buy above, it's still in consolidation, not a strong signal. If it is, remember the best when it's flat like this, it's sort of like the Dow one. Remember, if this even is, somebody could tell me if it is. Who knows the rules? This is sort of like the Dow. Why that one was weak? You see, it triggers. It's still in this massive consolidation. This, even if it were to trigger in massive consolidation. The best ones were like the NASDAQ, holding the rotation zone, breaking out above resistance, triggering a % B buy. That's the kind of things that I really like for those people learning that pattern. Yen finished the double, gave multiple exit opportunities. I'm now watching to see if we get a minor top area in here. A minor top. So that's what we'll be looking for right there, hitting the 75% harmonic. If it does keep motoring up, 150 to 150.20 is the next target area. This is starting to wane momentum with cycles at the top and overbought. So I'm going to be watching for at least a pullback. A pullback at this point going into sometime next week. Major resistance 146, major support 146.19. Let's see who else. Let's see. Sterling, lots of fun trading save. Spirit Airlines and trading around the 75 retracement from the gap down from Tuesday. We'll have fun trading that. CL tagged the 50 EMA perfectly and daily, then reversed. Bounced in the XLE space. Let's take a quick look at XLE. Let's take a quick look. Then we'll get to the XLE, which we're still in the longer term weekly double, finally hitting the first target. Finally hitting the first target officially yesterday. And it looks like this could be setting up for a little bounce play, but, oops, sorry about that. But key resistance is about 81.20. First area. And then you're looking at about 82.61. So those will just be bounces for potential other rollover plays, but that's definitely a stop reduction on the weekly XLE double. Good morning, Richard. We'll get to some others. Hold on one second. Let me get to Euro. And again, there's not still technically if this rotates down again, it's done with the potential double. I just wouldn't force anything today. The indices are probably, from those buy patterns, the best things for any follow through, but trailing it aggressively, as I said. The spiders clearly triggered the % B buy. Actually, interesting enough. You could have got in multiple times even on the spiders, but gap up this morning. Key support coming in at 477.80, and then would be about 477 to 477.10. And then it would be, if you got more weakness, 476.49. That would be for the gap fill. To the upside, 478.94 to 479. And then if it does keep marching on, you got 479.95 to 480. And this did it. This is, let me just check something. Yep, it's. So that's where we sit with there. The Qs coming up to the next little harmonic area. I put these, by the way, if you're wondering, these are the reverse harmonics from Wednesday's lows back to Friday's highs, which gave me 413.33 was a target from yesterday. Now we have 415.12. We're trading above that for 417.32, then 419.41 are the key targets up, besides any option pins. Okay, so that's what I'm watching. On any pullback now, 413.75 to 414. First area, and that's pretty key support. And then below that is 411, which I don't, unless something major happens today, don't expect that to get hit. Good morning, Legion Reaver. Thanks, Sterling. Does GC pattern qualify for a %B buy yesterday? I was just wondering. So that's where we sit there. Bitcoin, still the key level. Just keep an eye. If Bitcoin loses 40K, especially with the, remember from the podcast I said, need to close above 62.5 before I can resume bullish, because this is the major topping area. So far, it's topping, but it's still got to get that close below 40,000. If we get that close, you can see a pretty quick retracement back to this other support area. So keep an eye if you're a Bitcoin bull. Tesla, next target 202.95 for the 87.5. Trading 209.30, and remember, you still have a gap fill to 205.66. But I'm going to be watching it to retest over the next bit. Now, this is getting very oversold. And we got earnings next week. So I would not be surprised to see a pop coming in. Thank you. Let me get to Logitech. Let me just take a look at the weekly. We got some divergences up here. When's earnings? I know earnings is what, next week? Yeah, or yep, Monday. Thought I saw that. Monday. I mean, there's no sell thing yet. The 91 is very key support. The reversal gap open price. 91 is key. If you lose 91, see, that's also right where the weekly rotation zone is. If you start losing 91, you can start the bigger pullback. You're getting weekly cycles into the bottom with a sideways correction so far. I mean, I have no outlook on earnings, but if, you know, if they beat, what would be the next target area? Well, I'd first of all use your minor harmonics, first of all, to about 98. And your major, let me see here. Let me see. You're 98, 97. So you got to clear a fair amount of resistance. So if I was structuring something, I go from 98 to 99 for a key target area on a bullish move with earnings. And the breakdown level is 91 for me. Thank you, Sterling. So it did not. Thank you. All right. NVIDIA looks like another gap up today. Just keeps marching on. Chips are all the rage. 600 is the very key target on that. AMD, sort of a key reversal week yesterday. This is getting very overdone, but there is no long-term topping pattern yet. Sideways correction breaking out on the weekly. Now, there'll be a time when there'll be a pretty decent pullback in this, but there's no key topping pattern in that. Finally, Apple, by the way, I just wanted to touch on this, did trigger. We're going in the open right now, but triggered the double bottom off the 200 yesterday. So keep an eye for this, especially there's still a gap fill left behind, 192.53. The final target is 193.17 on the double that was triggered. Peeking in at the S&P in the open. All right. Breaking some minor support there. But let's see. Let me just peek at the tick real quick. Remember, this is option expiration. Moderately bullish tick open. Moderately bullish. So going to be seeing if we get some around this 48.20 area. See if we get a shorter term bottoming pattern. We start breaking through there. Then the next major support isn't to this 48.15 with the reversal in the tick. But I'm keeping an eye on this going in. Now it's got to do some heavy lifting back about 48.30 before it can get into some more sustained bullish run. All right, with that, I'm going to jump into the open. Remember, don't do anything stupid, especially on OPEX Fridays. If you don't have something to do, it's a great day to call it early from trading and just enjoy the day or focus on your other job. With that, I will talk to everyone later. Bye for now.